Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. So, where are you listening from? Kindly type in where you are listening from. Today is Monday. Let's do some chat breakdown. Where are you listening from? Kindly type in where you are listening from. Let me know the OGs in the house. Let me know the OGs in the house. Where are you listening from? So, give a like to on the stream. Kindly click on the thumbs up button. Give a like to the stream. Where are you listening from? Type in where you are listening from. Okay. Alexander Togo from Accra. Okay, we are more than one. So the rest, where are you listening from? Where are you listening from? Kindly type in where you are listening from and give a like to the stream too as well. Kindly, so if I say give a like to the stream, what I mean is what? Click on the thumbs up button. You see the hand like this, you click on it. Then you share it to your friends and family too. So you're having someone from Ada. All right. Okay. Yeah, so let's back to the business again. Business of trading. Are you enjoying trading, or it's kind of it has become a burden on you? I hope you're all enjoying trading. Are you enjoying it, or it has become a burden? Oh. I hope you are enjoying trading. Are you enjoying it? All right, so let's move straight to the charts without wasting much time. So the thing is, if you're having any question, okay, if you have any question with regards to trading, please, it's not about coming to beg. So you have some people who come and beg you for money. It's not about begging me for money. If you have any question with regards to trading, kindly send it in the chat box, or kindly type it in the chat box. If you're a man, you don't have to be begging for money. You have to work for your own money. No one cares. Okay. All right. So let's check out the fundamentals and see what's happening with the fundamentals. Yeah, so during the weekend, we had some high impact. We had some geopolitical event that happened during the weekend, and it's really had an impact when the market opened. So when the market opened, so most often, so those who have been asking me how does gap happens in the market and those stuff. So I think this weekend, this weekend was an experience, or it was something you can witness when it comes to gaps. So gaps mostly happens during the weekend, like when the market opens, but it mostly happens when we had a high impact news during the weekend. So when the market opens, all those news effect is going to take, like all those news releases is going to take effect when the market opens. So that's why mostly you see a sudden movement in price, like you see a spike, okay, which most often leaves error information of what price. So that's how it works. So when the market open, when there was a high impact news, okay, when those news releases, so we saw this weekend that the US military has bombed, I think, 3 of Iran's nuclear is it nuclear, I think, yeah, their nuclear camps or what. Yeah, so it had an effect on the market. So let's check out the fundamentals and see. So mostly when we see something of that sort, what happens when we see wars and yeah, when we see wars, like serious wars and those stuffs, when we mostly see something of that sort, what's going to happen is what? It's going to affect the dollar negatively. Okay, anything when it comes to any negative news that is affecting, or any negative news that affects the world, is having a negative impact on the dollar as well too. So that's why we saw gold. I think gold, when the market opened, gold really gained strength, and what, it opens with a gap too as well. Yeah. So let's see the news event. Let's see if there was any high impact news. So this side, it's very so mostly when people start out with trading, they mostly check out, as in when they are reading the news, they check out only the calendar. So you have to be checking the news too. So most often with the news, what happens is what, when those like unexpected news releases, that's when you are going to be seeing it over here. So it's very important you check it out, so that it will give you much confidence. It will give you more confidence in the trade that you are taking. Okay, especially if you are trading gold, you need to make sure you are considering the fundamental releases, or you are considering the news releases in what, in your decision making. You get it? You don't have to be the opposite side of the move, where maybe something negative is affecting the dollar and you are also buying, you are also what, selling gold USD. Anything negative affecting the dollar, by all means, gold USD is going to move up. So you need to be considering all those stuffs too as well. So you're having someone from Ashoman, you are welcome, Esco. So I hope you people can hear me. If you can hear me, kindly type 1 in the chat box. Can you people hear me? Kindly type 1 in the chat box if you can hear me. Kindly type 1 in the chat box if you can hear me. Okay. So Jonas can hear me. Kofi Edry can hear me. Yeah. Thank you. If you can hear me. Yeah, so checking the news today. So Trump, for the current regime, is unable to make Iran great again. Why wouldn't there be? So this is not something, this is not a high impact, and it is politically correct to use the term regime change. But if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? Yeah, so there's no any high impact news, unexpected high impact news. So let's check out the calendar for today. So today is Monday. You need to take it slow. So most often when it is Monday, I'm kind of, yeah, Mondays I'm not rushing. Mostly I'm active on the market on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. These are the 3 days that I'm mostly active on the chart. But on Mondays I'm kind of reserved, kind of not active on the chart, especially when it comes to currency, because Mondays, what happened is what, the market is now forming, things are now aligning. So what we mostly see is what, fake out moves. You get it? We mostly see fake out moves, especially when it comes to currencies. From my experience on currencies, gold is different, gold USD is different, but when it comes to currencies, we see a lot of fake out moves. The market is kind of faking out when it comes to its movement and those styles. So I'm mostly reserved. I'm kind of not active on trading currencies on Mondays. So today is Monday, 23rd of June 2025. Looking at the fundamentals, are you having this in your news events today? Yeah, so 7:15, we're having French flash manufacturing PMI, French flash service PMI. We're having a lot of news events, as in high impact events on euros. So if there was a high impact news on euro, what you have to know is what, it's going to affect GBP too as well. Okay, because they were all in the same, as in they were having the same economy before the Brexit came. So one thing they still have positive relation. Okay, when it comes to its movement, they still have positive relation. So when the euro news gets released, what you are going to be noticing is what, it's going to affect the dollar too as well, and the pound too. So we're having a lot of high impact in 8:32. We are going to be having flash manufacturing PMI. So this is like a threshold. This is like mostly a survey that they ask the purchasing managers about how their thoughts, what they think about the economy when it comes to how sales is going, productivity, and those stuff. So it's like in a threshold. You get it? So when it's above 50%, that means what, the economy is performing. The health of the economy is good. When it is below 50%, the health of the economy, it's kind of crumbling, or it's kind of, yeah, it's not doing well. Yeah, so let's look at the threshold. We're having a lot. So 49.8, 49.8. Yeah, so let's see how it's going to be. Interpreting this is going to be very hard, because most often from my experience, one thing I've noticed is what the service one is more impactful as compared to the manufacturing one, from my experience. So service, you're expecting 49.1, which is still not above the threshold. You get it? So maybe you can get some euro or pound weakness this morning. Okay, they're all below 50%. They're all below 50%. Yeah, so an 832 flash manufacturing PMI 2. Yeah, so this one, I think the pound is going to be what, in good shape, as if everything as in goes as planned, then maybe the pound is going to be strong, because this one is 51.2, which is on good notes, and 145 we are going to be having. So today is kind of a chaotic day. Yeah, so let's analyze BTC US. I don't know whether it has moved. Okay, so this one was kind of doing well. This is a currency pair that I think this is an asset or an instrument that it's having a nice setup this morning. So let's analyze BTC USD. So looking at the monthly time frame on BTC USD, doing our top down analysis. So you have to first of all identify your horizontal levels, which are your various reactional levels, where we had a lot of demand for this, a lot of demand for BTC, or a lot of supply for BTC. Okay, so those are the various support and resistance levels. Okay, so when you have a lot of demand at a particular level, what you are going to be seeing is what it is signaling to us is what, when you have a support, what is telling us is what, we have a lot of demand at that particular level. Okay, so this one is what, a support level. What is trying to tell us is what, if in case this level gets hold, that means what, we have a lot of demand on this particular level. So what is going to happen is what, price is going to continue rallying what, up. Okay, so let's identify the levels by changing it to a line chart to get the accuracy, or to get the exact level. Okay, so to get the exact level. Yeah, so this you do when you start out. So if you're a beginner and you kind of confused, and when it comes to your analysis and those stuff, you need to do your top down analysis. The reason why you do top down analysis is what, most often the market is kind of expect those reactional levels. So when I say, if you are new to the channel, and when I'm saying a reactional level, what I'm trying to mean is what, reactional levels are kind of what, the levels that most often, as in buyers and sellers, what kind of they are very cautious, or they make decision on those levels. Okay, so those are the reactional levels. Okay, so someone will call it what, maybe point of interest, area of interest. It depends, but they are all the same idea. Okay, so you have to identify your various reactional levels when it comes to the horizontal levels and what, the diagonal level. So the diagonal level is going to be what, your trend line too as well. So your diagonal level is going to be your trend line too as well. That's dynamic support and resistance. So looking at BTC USD, these are the various reactional levels. Okay, so those who have been saying, oh, if I learn this technical analysis, can I trade crypto? When it comes to the financial market, it's the same approach. How price move is the same approach. The phases of the market, as in the uptrend phase, the downtrend phase, is the same thing that is applied to other financial market. When it comes to the option, it comes to stock, when it comes to futures, when it comes to forex, when it comes to cryptocurrencies, is the same approach. Okay, it's the same phases that is applied, or the same phases we see in the forex market, as in the uptrend phase, the downtrend phase, and sometimes you get the ranging phase or consolidating phase, where you don't get a clear direction of the market. It's the same approach that is applied to all the financial markets. So you don't have to just be saying, oh, you can't be using the same approach to analyze. It is the same thing. So kindly bear that thing in mind. You get it? So these are the various levels. Okay, but the reason why I'm not pulling up the diagonal or the dynamic support and resistance, the dynamic, so this point will be a support level. The reason I'm not pulling this support level is because this is a monthly time frame, and it's kind of, before price will get to this level, it's going to take a very long, it's going to take a time before price will approach this level. So that's why, okay, so maybe when you go to the lower time frame, like the H4 time frame, you might get a level which can align to it perfectly, or which it's kind of like currently approaching that diagonal level. So you will bring it in. Okay, so looking at the monthly, so we are done with the monthly time frame. So the monthly time frame, this is the valid, or this is the current resistance or support levels when it comes to the monthly time frame. When price is coming down, we're expecting it to come down to this level. When price is moving up, looking to your left, you don't have any reactional level looking to your left. Okay, so what I'm trying to mean is what, you don't have, looking to your left, you don't have any support level that when price gets to those levels, it's going to react. Okay, or it's going to react. So the reaction can be either breakout, or it can either be what, when price pulling back. So looking at our left, we don't have something of that sort. So that's why we kind of what, this is the only level that we can plot it now at the moment. Okay, on BTC USD. So looking at the weekly time frame, on the weekly time frame, okay, on the weekly time frame, when price starts coming down, so there was kind of it's not valid, like it's not visible, but I see it to be what, a reactional levels. Okay, so there was a change in trend over here. Okay, so this one is no more valid because there was a shift in trend to an uptrend. This is where we had a shift in trend to an uptrend. So when price has, as price has shifted trend, okay, this was lower lows and lower highs. So it's also, when you see something of lower lows and lower high, what it's trying to tell you is what, in overall, or like as in general, the direction of the market is what, people who is dominating the market, participants who is dominating the market is what, sellers who are dominating the market, or bears who are dominating the market at this point. So when we had a shift in trend over here, when price made lower low and this candle broke above this one, we had a shift in trend. So at this point, participants who are in control of the market are what, the buyers. Okay, buyers in overall are what, dominating the market at this point. So what you are expecting is what, as price has broke out. So when, one mistake a lot of people do is what, when price broke out, they are kind of in rush to what, when price kind of make a huge move, okay, either in a downtrend or what, an uptrend, I'm very happy, because one thing is what, price is going to pull back, and when price pull back, what you are going to be experiencing, or what you are going to be seeing is what, it is now going to give us an opportunity, okay, for us to buy, or for us to sell. But a lot of people make this mistake. They feel FOMO when price break out. They have missed the move. When price break out, hold on. Okay, you need to hold on. Price is going to pull back again, settle down for you to enter again. So for me, I love when price make a massive move and I'm not in the first move. I don't have to be in the first move. Okay, there was no reward in the first move. Sometimes you being in the first move will end you what, losing the trade. So when price make a massive move at the initial point or at the initial stage, I'm kind of reserved. I'm waiting for price to settle down, then I'll what, jump into the second move. So that's what I mostly love. So this one that we saw a massive move, a shift in trend, I'm kind of not, when you had a massive a shift in trend, I'm kind of relaxed, waiting for price to settle down on the key levels, on the area of interest. Then I'll go into the trade. So at this point, you have seen what, a pullback. So mostly it is kind of very risky when you are trading the pullback, okay, because pullbacks are kind of very rough when it comes to its movement. Pullbacks are kind of very rough, its movements, as in, we don't have, mostly it's kind of, we don't have as in clear or maybe clean market structure or clean movement in price when you are trading the correction. So you can see this one for yourself. This one was making a correction, or it was pulling back, and we saw what is happening over here. You see how the candle was looking at, like how the candle was behaving at this point. So at this point, I will not be interested in what, mostly I'm not interested in the pullbacks. I love trading with the trend, you get it. So this one has pulled back, okay, at the weekly time frame. So at this point, you are expecting price, the nearest reactional level is at this point, okay. But if you are good in trading correction, maybe you can find an entry to take this sell. Okay, so this sell is what you are going to be looking for when you move to the lower time frame, because this is what is going to, this is the nearest what reactional level. When price starts coming down, it is not going to slow down, because you have what, this is what some people call it fair value. We have a clean zone at this point. We have a clean what tradable zone. There's no support and resistances. Okay, so when price continue moving down, we are going to get a smooth ride to this point, to what, before it will start bouncing to what, the upside. So I think this one, when you move to the lower time frame, we can take advantage of this move. Okay, we can take advantage of this move. So these are the various reactional levels, and we're expecting to trade with this zone over here. So at the weekly time frame, that's the only thing we can what be doing over here. And I think let's plot out this let's plot out this invisible levels over here. So looking at the daily time frame, so what's the daily time frame? So this at this area, or at this, like at this moment, we are interested in the direction of the market. So weekly and monthly, since we are not kind of position traders, we don't hold trade for very long time like weeks, month. We're only interested in the sectional movement of price. What you are interested in, what the daily trend and what the H4 trend. That's what you are interested, because you are mostly interested in what the sectional movements. We are not interested in holding trades overnight and those stuff. So we are not I'm not interested in that. So I'm interested in the daily trend and the H4 trend, which is going to help me when I move to the lower time frame. I'm going to follow that direction. So looking at the daily trend, let's first of all identify the trend before we come to the various reactional levels. So it's very simple. If you are starting out, this is what you have to take note of. This is what you have to learn the direction, learn how to identify the direction of the market. After learning how to identify the direction of the market, learn how to what plot out the various learn how to identify the various reactional level. It can be the horizontal levels, it can be the diagonal levels, or maybe the dynamic support and resistance levels, which I mean is the trend line and support and resistance level. This is the only thing that you need. And what the time of the day. So trading, I was recently talking to someone about this thing. Trading is not only about the technical analysis. Sometimes some of the important things are kind of not mostly spoken about when it comes to the time of the day. The time of the day is very, very important. The time you trade is very important. The days you trade is very, very important when it comes to. So those times I used to focus solely on what technical analysis. Sometimes you might be correct, you might be accurate with the technical analysis, everything is on point. But one thing you need to understand is what you might be trading at the wrong timing, at the wrong day of the market too as well. So you need to pay attention to the time of the day. You need to pay attention to what the days you trade to. Okay, some of the days are not kind of major, as in though you don't see major movements in price, as in the participant, those who mostly move price, okay, mostly don't. But when they are not participating in the market, you mostly see a lot of fake out. When you see a lot of fake out, you don't see big moves in the market, because we need big moves. We are interested in the volatility of the market. So when you don't see these big moves, that's when you see choppiness. Price is like moving up, moving. That's when it starts hitting your stop loss and those stuff. So it's very, very important you pay attention to the technical. You pay attention to the time of the day and the days you need to trade. Okay, so the trend at this point is what? A downtrend. Price just made an uptrend over here. We had some consolidation over here. So at this point, you have gotten, or you are seeing what? A shift in trend. So now the trend is kind of what? A downtrend. So you are waiting for a pullback as it is doing now. Then what? We target this tradable zone. So there was a reactional level over here. So this is the level we are targeting, or this is the level that we are expecting to what? Trade within. You feel me? Yeah, so the trend is what? A downtrend. So let's identify our various levels. So we had a level over here. So if price is coming up, this level is going to be reacted. This level is going to be respected. The reason why I've brought this level over here is what? The candle hasn't closed yet, and it can still take effect. You get it? Since the level hasn't closed, price can still react on that level. So we need to pay attention to. So there was another reactional level over here. Yeah, so looking at the daily time frame, we need to pull up our various trend line. So with point A, point B, this is where it's going to move. Kind of not clear on it. So you can bring the point A, point B over here. So you have point A, point B. So I'm expecting price at the daily time frame, price to come to this level. Okay, so we had a confluence over here, which trend line is aligned with the technical analysis. So at this point, I'm expecting price to come to this level. Then we take the continuation of the trend. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting it to happen on price. So looking at the H4 time frame, so you see the level that we plotted on the daily time frame is kind of aligned perfectly. The levels you drew, so you see the horizontal line is aligned over. It's kind of fitting, or it's kind of like exactly on this level. And looking at, so the trend at the H4 time frame too is what? Also a downtrend. Looking at price made a lower low, lower high. So this one shifted to an uptrend. There was a shift in trend. That's when we saw continuation of what? Lower lows and lower highs. Lower lows and lower highs. Okay, so at this point, what you are expecting it to happen is what? Price, there was a confluence over here where trend line is aligned with the what? The horizontal line too as well. So we had point A, point B over here. Yeah, so there was point A. So you see, so I'm kind of very confident price will reject at this level, but we need to get a confirmation before you go in for a sell. Okay, we need to get a confirmation before you go in for a sell. So maybe this point will be our first target. So you need to look for confirmation. So for my best confirmation, it's either I wait for this candle to what shift to a bearish candle, then what we going for what a sell, or the other alternative is to what wait for a shifting trend. So at this point, this trend is what an uptrend. Okay, the H1 trend is kind of an uptrend at this point. And even if you are taking a sell over here, one thing you need to bear in mind is what we're having this zone over here. This is a daily zone, so you need to wait for price to break below before we go in for what a sell. At this point, if price gets to this side, the chances that price can get rejected and move up is very high. Okay, so this is a confluence area. This is a confluence area where we are having horizontal line, we're having at the same time technical line meeting at this level. So at this point, this is a confluence area, but we need to wait for confirmation. You don't have to just jump into the trade because it is looking good, so you just jump into the trade. So at the lower time frame, you either wait for a shifting trend. Okay, you either wait for a shifting trend like this, then we're going for what a sell at the lower time frame. Or but for me, most often I love using the H4 as my confluence, where the H4 this candle will shift a bearish trend. Sometimes I might be late in the trade, but I think that is the more accurate confirmation for me. Okay, the more accurate confirmation for me. So at this point, I'll be waiting for what a shifting trend over here. So sometimes entries are very, when it comes to entries, you might end up missing some of the moves and those stuff. So entries are kind of very difficult when it comes to the projecting where price. So I can analyze, or I can predict where price is going to go like 99.9%. But sometimes the entries is kind of, that's where the difficulty lies. The entries is where the difficulty lies. So for me, I'll wait for price to what maybe this one to shift bearish, then I'll be looking for an entry like what happened over here. I think that one is kind of that one gives me more accuracy as compared to using the lower time frame. So this one can just break, but this is a high, as in this level is kind of high confluence or high area, high chances of price moving down. Yeah, so this is on top of my watch list for BTC USD, so I have to bring it on top. Yeah, so let's analyze gold USD and see what's happening with gold USD. So with gold USD, doing our top-down analysis on gold USD, looking at the monthly time frame on gold USD, looking at our left, you don't have any price or you don't have any data to our left. You get it? You don't have data to our left. So looking at the weekly time frame, so the weekly time frame trend is kind of not clean at this point. The weekly time frame trend is kind of not clean at this point. Yeah, so these are the various levels. So if you can hear me, let me know. Can you people hear me? I hope my network is good. Are you experiencing any breakage in the network? Are you hearing me? So if I have any question with regards to the analysis that I've been doing, kindly type it in the chat box. Okay, kindly type it in the chat box. Yeah, so at the weekly time frame, on gold USD, these are the various reactional levels. So looking at the daily time frame at this point, we have these various reactional levels. These are the various reactional level at the daily time frame. So the daily time frame is still an uptrend. Okay, the daily time frame is still an uptrend. Let's bring out trend line. So highs to lows kind of not aligned. Let's concentrate our point over here. Yeah, so these are the various levels using the trend lines. So this is our point A, point B. So we're expecting a continuation of the trend. So let's identify our various levels. So we have a reactional level over here, another reactional level, another reactional levels. So let's move to the H4 time frame. So this is where most often it's kind of very important to us when it comes to the trend. So the H4 trend is kind of very, very important to us. So we're having this reactional level over here at the H4 time frame. So looking at the weekly time frame, yeah, so at the H4 time frame, we're having this zone over here. You get it? But one thing that's kind of making I'm confused on this trend is what? Yeah, so the H1, yeah, so this one is looking good, but the one thing about the H4 trend is what? We had this one kind of tested it, broke it, kind of not clear. Okay, it's kind of not clear. Yeah, so there was a small zone over here, which price is kind of aligning with this level over here. So let's see the lower time frame. The lower time frame too is also what? A downtrend. Let's look at the low 30 minutes time frame. Yeah, the 30 minute time frame is also what? A downtrend. Yeah, so this move is kind of, so H4 trend is what I'm kind of not confident in it, but the H1 is what? A downtrend. M30 is also a downtrend. So yeah, this one looks good for a sell. So 90 pips. 90 pips. So what's fundamental saying? Trump, if the current regime. Yeah, so when you are trading gold, you need to look at the fundamentals and see if it aligns with what? The technical analysis. Let me see the H4. Yeah, so this candle never closed below this one. That's the problem. This candle, the H4 candle never closed below. So this one can just be a fake out and price will just bounce off over here. That's what I'm thinking of. The H4 candle never closed below. So this one can just move up. If not, this one was looking good for a sell because price is currently on this level. So 90 pips. Yeah, I'm not confident in the trade, but it's looking good for a sell. But I'm not confident in the trade. But we have an upcoming news event on Euro too, around 7:15. So around 7:15, you're having news event. So it's Monday. You need to slow down. You need to wait for this news event to be released. You are in lending time. Okay, you are in lending session, and if there was this news releases, it's bound is going to affect the movement in what? It's bound is going to affect the movement in the dollar too as well. So yeah, the dollar too as well. So we need to be patient with ourselves. It's early Monday. Okay, so this week is kind of, you have a lot of news events over here. A lot of news events. Yeah, so it's Monday, so let's be patient with ourselves. Okay, let's be patient and wait for the news releases before we make a decision. But this one is looking good for a sell, but because of the news, okay, because of the news, we need to be calm and wait for the news to release. Yeah. So let's look at, so gold, I'm not touching it because I'm not confident in it. The reason I'm not confident because the things I look for in a trade is not kind of aligning perfectly. When I'm taking a sell, since the H4 time frame, you let's consider it to be what, a downtrend. What I mostly look for, what I have to wait for, I mostly use the H4 as my confirmation. Since we are in what, this weekly level, looking at this weekly reactional level, I have to wait for the H4 candle to close below. If the H4 candle hasn't closed below and this a time frame lower than the H4 has closed below, I don't mostly make decision on that. I want strong confirmation, which is going to be the H4 candle. If the H4 candle closed below, with that one I would have been confident in it, but the H4 candle is still an ongoing candle which hasn't closed yet. So it can just be what, it can just be a pullback over here and price will continue moving up. So I will not make decision on this one. Okay, I will not make decision on this one. If not, if the H4 has closed below, it would have been a nice move to the downside to come to this level. Okay, but since the H4 hasn't closed, I can't make decision on that because this one can just move up. You notice that the previous candle just closed on this one, so I mostly use H4 as my what, my yardstick. Okay, this is what guide me. So since it hasn't closed below, I will not be making decision on that. You need to trade something that you have seen it before. Yeah, that's all about trading. You need to trade something you have seen it before. So this one too is doing its own thing, but since it hasn't closed, we can't conclude. Yeah, so GBP card was something I was kind of watching it when the market opened. So you see the reason why I said when the market makes a massive spike, I'm kind of not bothered. So you see this massive spike over here where we missed this move. You see price pulled back and you are getting the continuation of the trend, but the timing was very bad. Okay, the timing was very bad, so we couldn't take advantage. Yeah, so there was this currency I was kind of watching, USD card. Yeah, USD card is kind of looking good. So Friday there was a nice setup over here, but mostly when it comes to currencies, Friday during the New York session, when the market is opening, I kind of don't execute or take trades on, because when you enter a trade and let's say maybe we have low volume during that time, what is going to happen is what, it's going to take you to weekends. So on Fridays during the New York session, I'm kind of chilling. I'm not watching the chart, looking at the chart, trying to recover my loss. If I've lost during the trying to recover my losses now, unless maybe Tuesday, I don't mostly participate during the New York session on Friday. Okay, yeah, so it was looking really looking good when price made a massive spike. It just pulled back over here, but we have some reactional levels, I think, on the H4 time, on the daily time frame also. So this was the reactional levels. I was kind of watching it, but this reactional level made me lost as in confidence in this move. Okay, but price was kind of very looking good. It continued moving up. Price created the support over here, and you see, yeah, so if you are fortunate and you get a move where there's no reactional levels, I think you can kind of get a lot from the market. Okay, can get a lot from the market. And on euro card too, you see euro card, I entered it on, I think, on Wednesday. Price just pulled back over here and what stopped me out at break even, and you see the massive spike. Price continue moving up. So trading is kind of very hard. Trading is hard when it comes to, yeah, there's license price. You'll be in a nice move and price, instead of it moving, it will just come down, take you out, and it will move in your direction again. So it's kind of challenging and discouraging too as well, but you need to keep on going. Okay, you don't know when the odds are going to be in your favor. You need to keep on going. Yeah, so let's analyze USD card and see. Yeah, so let's analyze USD card and see what's happening. So on USD card, okay, on the monthly time frame, you can see over here that on the monthly time frame we have this. Wow, so this is a nice move over here for USD card at the monthly time frame. So we had a first move over here. There was a first move, second move. So you see the trend line price is currently hitting on this trend line over here. So let's bring our various support levels. So we have another support level over here. We had another reactional level over here. Yeah, so price is currently aligning perfectly with this level. So price is not close to this level. So let's remove this one. So looking at the weekly time frame on USD card, so you see the monthly time frame, you're expecting a push. Okay, so this is going to be a long-term move. Actually, this is going to be a long-term move, as in the rally price is going to, the bullish, like as in the bullish control is going to be very massive, because price, this is the monthly time frame, and you are seeing this beautiful, as in it's beautiful setup over here. 1, 2 beautiful setups. We had a beautiful setups over here. Okay, these are the beautiful setups we are having over here. So we are expecting continuation of price to this side. I'm expecting a continuation of this one. So looking at the weekly time frame, on the weekly time frame, you notice that price has currently kind of broken. So we have a trend shift over here too as well. There was a trend shift over here. There was a trend shift over here. Okay, it's kind of sitting on it by the candle. With candle structure has broken the high, so candle structure is an uptrend. We're expecting a continuation at this point. So let's look at the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, those are the shift in trend at the daily time frame. Yeah, so the daily time frame is kind of looking good. Okay, so looking at the daily time frame, you have this zone over here, this tradable zone over here for price to what fill. So looking at the H4, this is where we are mostly. So the daily time frame trend is what, an uptrend. So the H4 is where we are mostly interested in what is happening. So this one is kind of looking good. So this move is going to be massive, because looking at the monthly time frame, we are expecting rally up. Okay, looking at the monthly time frame, you're expecting price to continue. So we missed this first move. Okay, we missed this first move. So what we are expecting, is what, with this move we don't have to miss it. Looking at this one, so USD card is going to be on top of my watch list. I'm hoping it's not going to move today. Okay, so this one we just need a pullback as it is doing now. Then we take the continuation of the move. We are hoping maybe news is not going to just spoil everything, or just going to just spoil everything. We are hoping news is going to pull it down. If it pulls down, we can get a continuation. That's where you'll be interested in. Okay, so USD card is kind of looking good. Okay, looking at the H1 time frame, just made a pullback over here. Yeah, so I'm hoping price will just consolidate over here on USD card. I'm hoping price will consolidate over here. So we have like 1 hour 56 seconds. So if this candle close, we can get the continuation. So this move is going to be the same move as in what I took on Euro card the other time. If you think price is not high for you, you can take an impulsive move over here for price to continue. This, I see it to be moving long term. I see it to be moving, as in to be moving long term, moving up long term, or maybe buy long term. I'm seeing a buy on this one long term over here. So but it's better we wait for the pullback. Okay, if it pulls back, we can take the continuation of the move. That's what you're expecting, because weekly time frame is what, it's not looking good as in an uptrend, but that candle structure is an uptrend. Okay, you see first touch, second touch, the candle has now broken below. So this one definitely it should move up. USD card is also going to be on top of my watch list. Definitely it should move up. So this is what I'll be watching for today. If you look at the daily time frame, monthly time frame is an uptrend. Monthly time frame is kind of giving us a nice setup over here. Monthly time frame is an uptrend. Looking at the weekly time frame candle structure is an uptrend. Looking at the daily time frame is an uptrend. So there's no way this one shouldn't move up. It is not something you have to be saying in trading, but with this one I'll be confident to say this thing. There's no way this one shouldn't move up. So bringing our trend line over here, we have point A, point B over here. Okay, so at this point what I'm expecting, maybe we can get some pullback over here, then price will continue up. That's what I'm expecting it to happen. We can get a pullback, then price will continue up. So this one too is going to be on top of my watch list. Okay, this one is going to be on top of my watch list. Yeah, so GJ has started moving up. GJ has started moving up. GJ has started moving up. So when you see a rally like this, okay, when you see price moving up like this, what you have to do, so let's do a top analysis on GJ. So with GJ, this is the reactional level over here. So this is another reactional level too over here. So looking at the weekly, we have a reactional level 2 over here. So looking at the daily time frame trend is what? An uptrend. We have a reactional level over here. So at this point, what I'm expecting, looking at the H4 time frame, looking at our left, yeah, the zone is not clean. You don't have a clean zone. There's no clean zone over here. Yeah, so at this point, as it has moved up, we just have to relax and wait for price to pull back. Then we take the continuation of the trend. That's what we're expecting to see today. Okay, that's what we're expecting to see today. Maybe within the course of the week, maybe I'm waiting for a pullback, then I'll take the continuation. Yeah, so we talk about GBP card. Let's check GBP USD. Yeah, so this one too is also looking good for GBP USD. Yeah. Wow, so this is my favorite setup that happened on the daily time frame. Yeah, so at this point, GBP USD is also going to be on top of my watch list. So on GBP USD, looking at the monthly time frame, but GBP USD is kind of very volatile these days. So the monthly time frame, we have this reactional level. We have this reactional level over here. So at the weekly time frame, price is currently over here at the weekly time frame. So the weekly time frame trend is a downtrend. Daily time frame, let me see. Yeah, so the daily time frame trend is also what? A downtrend, but price has broken. So we have this zone over here. So pulling up our trend line, point A, point B. Point A, point B over here. So let's look at the H4 time frame. So at this point, at the H4 time frame, I'm expecting price to consolidate over here. Then we get a continuation of the trend. So that's what I'm expecting it to happen. I'm expecting a consolidation over here. Then what? We get a continuation of the trend. That's what I'm expecting it to happen. on GBP USD. On GBP USD, that's what I'm expecting it to happen on GBP USD. Yeah, so I'm expecting a consolidation around this level, then we get a continuation. So let me check out this one. Yeah, so they align perfectly on the same level. So that's what I'm expecting over here. Then we get a continuation of the trend on GBP USD. It's also looking good, but as I'm saying, it's Monday, so we need to be very calm. Yeah, so NZD card, I predicted it on Friday and it moved perfectly. AUD card too, I predicted it perfectly and it moved perfectly. Okay, all this one was done. It was shared before it moved. This one was shared before it moved. This one was also shared before it moved. Okay, this one happened on Friday. If not Friday, this one would have been a nice move for us, but I wasn't interested in Friday moves, so I just let it go. Okay, I just let it go. Yeah, so it moved perfectly. You can see the levels over here. So at this point, what we are waiting for, we missed this one on Friday, so you just have to wait for a pullbacks. Okay, you just have to wait for a pullback on the various reactional levels. We just have to wait for a pullback. Yeah, so what we saw over here, we just have to see some waiting for something of that sort. Okay, so at this point you are just waiting for maybe the same thing as, then we take the continuation of the trend. So it's the same thing over here. Maybe if price can make a deep pullback to the same level, if it can make a deep pullback to the same level, okay, if we can get a massive pullback to this level, then we can get a continuation of the trend too as well. So this one was predicted before it moved. This one was predicted before it moved. So you can see the risk reward tool over here. Yeah, so on top of my watch list when it comes to currencies is USD card. This one is what I'm going to be watching today. I strongly believe this zone is going to get filled. Okay, I strongly believe this zone is going to get filled. I'm hoping and praying this. Yeah, so this news is going to move price. Definitely this news is going to move price. And you see, when there was an upcoming news event, you don't have to force and jump in. From my experience, so news events also, if it was to be normal day, like maybe Tuesday, I wouldn't be trading today unless maybe I won't be trading today unless maybe after 2 p.m. That's when I'll be looking for trade. Okay, because after 8:30, that's when the lending session, as in the active lending session, major lending has opened. After lending opens, you see some calmness unless New York session comes in. So this one is going to be released during that time. You're going to be seeing major spikes and those things. So I wouldn't have entered any trade. So maybe this one has been released before I'll be looking. Those calmness in the market which can lead or which can cause you to what, to be missing this move. Which can cause you to be missing this move. So this move would definitely be missed because of the PMI today. PMI is kind of very volatile. Unless maybe it just move up, it becomes negative for the dollar and it moves down, then we get the continuation as I'm projecting or expecting. Other than that, then this move would definitely be missed. So Tuesday, you don't have any high major as in high impact news during the lending session, so we can get a nice movement on Tuesdays. The month is about ending. We are in the last quarter, as in the last week of the month. Yeah, so we need to be very, very careful with that and wait for price to pull back before we go in for the continuation of the trend. Yeah, before you go in for the continuation of the trend. So USD card on top. When it comes to crypto, BTC USD is kind of on top too as well. So I'm expecting price to come to this level. Let me check NASDAQ. Yeah, so NASDAQ this morning created nice move over here on NASDAQ. There was a nice movement over here on NASDAQ. There was a nice buy over here. There was a nice buy over here. Price created the support over here. There was a nice buy over here. And it's also what's aligned like the zone over here. You see how, oh wow, this was a nice move. Wow. It's when did it happen? Okay, it happened around 5 a.m. So it also aligns with the gap fill over here. This was A plus setup this morning on NASDAQ. This was A plus setup. H4 gave a perfect break and retest over here. A nice move for this zone to this week to get filled. Yeah, so let's see the news events, the Euro news event. Let's see the outcome. Or it's still on pending. Okay, so it has been released. It was negative. Let's see the PMI too, the service one. So this one was negative. Okay, so when it's negative, the pound and euro is going to be also be what? Negative, because it's below the threshold. So if it is negative, then you're expecting pound and euro to be what? To be negative, as in to be selling, to be very weak. Let me put it this way. But it's kind of not impactful like that. It wasn't impactful. It wasn't impactful. So looking at Euro US, let's check Euro US. Okay, so you saw the effect on Euro US. So you are seeing Euro being weak this morning because the news was negative. You get it, the red folder. It means the currency at hand is negative. So that's why we are seeing Euro USD falling this morning. You get it? That's why it's falling. Let me check pound USD too. Yeah, so pound yen is falling. Yeah, pound dollar too is also falling. Yeah, so Euro GBP, when there's a news release on one of them, it's going to affect each other. Yeah, so the next news release is going to be 7:30, which is going to be PMI. So today is all about just sitting and watching the news events. Is sitting and watching the news events, news releases. Okay, guys, if you have any question, type it in the chat box. If you don't have any question, let me move. If you have any question, type it in the chat box. So there was a news event, so please don't just jump into trades just like that. We're having this news 7:32. There was news event. Don't trade before this time will approach. Don't trade. You see, the euro and the pound is dominating this morning. This is the accession. It is going to do the accession moves the other pairs too as well. So you see, gold is kind of sitting on the level that we had. Gold is sitting on this level, as I'm saying. It can move to this side. If you have any question, kindly type it in the chat box. Yeah. If you have any question, kindly type it in the chat box. Yeah, so let's all be watching USD card. USD card is something I have interest in. But the news, I said news might just change everything. This one is a high probability trade setup. It hasn't set up yet because this is like a breakout now, but I'm waiting for it to pull back before we jump in. So USD card, yeah, USD card is on top of my watch list. If it were to be normal day, this is what I'll be looking for. I'll be watching for the whole day. USD card for buy. Let's hashtag USD card for a buy. Hashtag USD card for a buy. Because the monthly time frame, the monthly structure is looking perfectly well. You get it? The monthly structure is looking perfectly well. The monthly structure is looking perfectly well. The weekly too is looking good. The daily time frame too is also. The daily time frame looks perfect. It looks perfect. See this fair value gap, as people will call it, fair value gap. You see clean zone over here. Clean zone over here. As people will call it, fair value gap. So it's USD card is on top of my watch list for this week. But I'm not sure I'll be able to enter because news is just going to move it without me. And I don't have to be in a trade where there's this chaos news event. I don't have to be doing. So NASDAQ was kind of very, very smooth this morning. It was kind of perfecto. Price just broke out, pulled back, gap over here to be filled. Price created support. It gave you the support to just shoot it up. So if you are confused with the move, so let's do a bar replay and see how you would have entered the move. Let's do a playback. So let's do a top-down analysis on the monthly time frame. There was a reactional level over here. At the weekly time frame, there was a reactional level at the weekly time frame. So at the daily time frame, there was a support over here because there were a lot of demand. Prices move up. Looking at the daily, there was another resistance over here. At the H4 time frame, price just broke out, pulled back over here. You see, gave us this gap over here. There was a shift in trend over here. Gave us this gap over here. What are you expecting? So this is where you would have taken the move. So various clean zone. This is perfect. Okay, so this is how you would have taken advantage. So when the market opened, it gave us a gap. Price has broken out, shifted trend to an uptrend, pulled back over here. You get it? You're expecting a continuation of the trend. When price pull back, as I said, when it moves like this, you are not kind of rush to jump into the move. You waited for the pullback, pulled back on this daily support level, and the H42 again. What? Okay, this was very fast. H42 gave what? A support level at the same level where the daily gave a support. The daily gave a support. So this is where I would have entered the move without even moving to the lower time frames. So the lower time frame also gave a perfect break and retest over here. You get it? At the H4 time frame, this is where I would have entered. I would have entered at the break of the candle tip. So looking at the 30-minute time frame, this is where I would have entered. At the break of this one, okay, at the break of this one, so all these ones doesn't happen during time that the market is active for us to take advantage. So this is where I would have entered. Boom. So this one will be my target. So you see, as price go to the level, what are you seeing now? Reaction. Okay. Yeah, see, so this is where I would have taken profit. Close to 1 to 3 rigs to reward. Yeah, so this is what you would love to see during active market session, but it's kind of very hard for you to be seeing these things. We don't see them like that. Yeah, so NZD card is doing what I'm expecting it to do. So let's watch USD card. So USD card, so everyone should be watching USD card for a buy, okay? But you have to wait for all this news to be released. 7:30, 8:30 news to be released, okay? And I'm very sure flash PMI might slow things down. So USD card for a buy, but it's not time yet. It's not time yet. So you have 7:30. Let's wait for the German flash manufacturing news to be released and see the outcome. So you have like 4 minutes 15 seconds for it to be released. So if you have any question, kindly drop it in the chat box. Let's talk. Let's make it engaging. What do you expect the news what do you expect the news to be doing? So you have like 3 minutes 54 seconds for the news to be released. So what are they expecting on German flash manufacturing PMI? So with the service one, so this one they are expecting less than 50%, which is below the threshold of 50. So that means euro will still keep on dumping. Euro will keep on dumping. Yeah. So euro will keep on dumping. If it happens to be true with what you are seeing, then euro will keep on dumping. Yeah, then you are going to be having flash manufacturing PMI on 8:30. So I said USD card for a buy, but not now. Clean zone to our left. Imagine you entered over here. This is perfect, like perfect setup. Perfect setup. Wow, that was a perfect break retest over here. Continuation. Yeah, so we have like 2 minutes for the news to be released. So if it happens to be low, they were expected euro weakness. So you see the same setup you are seeing on GBP USD card is the same thing you are seeing on BTC USD2 as well. Yeah, so Yeah, so this one I'm waiting for the pullback over here on this level. Maybe within the course of the week, I'm very, very sure AUD card will give an opportunity. I'm very, very, very sure AUD card will give an opportunity. So maybe if it comes and fail this week, it will come at this level again for us to take it. So the same thing on NZD card too. You can get it. I love the card pairs. It really, really moves smoothly. From my experience, I really, really love the card pairs. USD card, GBP card, AUD card. I love them. I love its movement. It's kind of very calm, move very fast, calm like fast. I love it. Yeah, so we have like few seconds for it to be released. Few seconds for it to be released. Yeah. So pending. Let me refresh. So this one is 49.5, which is positive. $49.5, which is positive. Let me check euro. So all these ones were not like impactful, child. So guys, see you all same time next week, or maybe within the week I can come around. So if you are watching, kindly give a like on the stream. As I said, you are watching USD card for today. The whole of today, you are going to be watching USD card for a buy. So kindly give a like to the stream, share the link to your friends, subscribe if you have not subscribed. See you all same time on Monday, but maybe I'll be doing some short videos within the course of the week. So maybe you might be you might be seeing me on your screens again. All right, see you all on Monday. Bye.